Hey guys, it's Hannah and this is Bookworms Talk. And today I'm going to talk about my May monthly movie rundown favorites. The most tongue-twisty, randomized title. I feel like I say it differently in every video, but essentially I'm going to tell you about the movies or TV shows that I watched this month, highlight my favorites, give brief summaries for ones that I think are worth a watch, and kind of skim over the ones that I didn't love so much. So I'm first going to start off with my number one favorite. This movie is probably in my top 20 or 30 favorite movies of all time. Not because it's spectacular as far as plot, but because it was one, very beautifully directed, wonderfully acted, and it's just so visually appealing to me. It is called Heaven. It's from, I believe, the late 90s. It has Cate Blanchett in it. And I've been on a Cate Blanchett, kick, I guess is the right word for it lately. I just never really thought anything of her particularly, but I found myself liking movies that she's in and then seeking out movies that she's in because I happen to really like her acting and I never realized it until now. So Heaven is about a woman whose husband recently died due to a drug overdose, and she has talked to the local authorities about this man who is dealing drugs, and he's the cause of a lot of problems in this one particular area in Italy where she's living. She's a British school teacher, by the way. And the authorities have really just ignored her, and so she decides to take things into her own hands, really because she has nothing left to lose, and she wants to see the man who's responsible for this and many other deaths to finally pay. So she makes a bomb, and she plants it in his office, but it ends up getting moved, and things go bad, and she's not responsible for others' deaths who were innocents in this. And while she's being questioned and under investigation, there is an interpreter there for her. He kind of sympathizes with her and her cause really more than anything, not necessarily that he thinks it's okay that what she did killed people, but it's never said. It's all this really great implied thing. There are subtitles. I do want to mention that some people really hate subtitles, but that's really the only first 15 minutes of the movie, and then it switches to an English translation for you. So it's really minute. So if you can get past that first 15 or so minutes, totally worth it. I'm someone who really doesn't like subtitles, but I mean, I get over it for movies like Pan's Labyrinth, which I really happen to like, and that was all in Spanish. And I know approximately this much Spanish, so I didn't really pick much up. But so this man who is her interpreter, he wants to help her succeed. He helps her in any way that he can. This means he's going to end up probably sacrificing his life. There's a lot of danger to this. It's not any kind of high-paced action sort of movie. It's very quiet and it's very visual. There's not much talking. There's so much that you have to really watch the movie and appreciate it for the beauty and the way that it was directed. The non-verbal communication, that is what I love the most about this movie, is the non-verbal communication. It wowed me. I went into it expecting almost nothing, and I was blown away. Another movie that I really, really liked was called In Fear on Netflix. So is the other one, if I did not mention that. It is a horror movie. It's hard to watch at times. It's not gory. There's just this one scene halfway through that you're like, oh, I can't, I have to look away. But other than that, it's just kind of cat and mouse style.
I feel like I have lipstick somewhere weird. I did. Great.
They're a couple, I believe they're British, and they're going to this music festival and they're wanting to stay at this hotel that's kind of out. It feels like middle of nowhere to me, but it's in Ireland, and it's these back fields of vegetables and shit. And so they're on these little back roads, and it's this winding river-like thing, and they cannot find this hotel. It starts to get dark, and then the girl keeps thinking that she's seeing people in the vegetable stuff that I can't think of the name to. Then you realize that there actually is someone there, and it gets really high stakes because there's they're fucking going in circles. They don't have any idea where they're going. Their GPS isn't working, and makes me nervous, and it's so suspenseful and amazing. Suspense hasn't been done that well in such a long time for me. One movie I really enjoyed, I probably should have mentioned this second, it is called Bleeding Heart. There's this woman, I believe she's Buddhist. She teaches yoga. She's very peaceful and has this very organized life. But she was adopted, and she's been trying to find her birth mother and if she has any siblings, and she's put so much research into it, and she finally comes up with this lead. And so she goes to find the woman who is her sister. She has her address, and she wants to have her in her life. So they are very different. Her sister ends up being a prostitute. I think she prefers to be called sex worker. And she has this really horrible and abusive boyfriend. They are just getting to know each other, and so she almost had an instinctive thing to want to protect her because they are family, but then she is also a stranger and she doesn't want to step on her toes, but she wants to protect her. And it's kind of like this really interesting dynamic that you watch kind of grow and see where it fits right and where it doesn't. It's definitely like a hard one to watch at times. I found it to be so good. I thought it was going to be like a Lifetime movie that they threw on Netflix, which there is one in here that I watched that was like that, but it's not. I went into it with no expectations and it exceeded like tenfold. It has, I'm not sure if I can say her name correctly. Zosia Mamet. She's from Girls. I really like her. She plays Shavana? God, my name is today. And Jessica Biel is also in it. Another movie I watched was Fight Club. I really loved it. I watched it twice. I recommend watching it twice. You miss things you don't realize you miss. Just gonna say, I caught all the secrets, the cigarette burns. I caught those. I was very proud of myself. It Follows is another horror movie. I was into horror movies this month. I really liked it. It's so different. It's not horror. It's not scary. It's very Sundance, if that makes any sense. So it's essentially about, oh God, I don't want to spoil it so much, but it has this allusion to like sexually transmitted diseases. I'm sure that was the intention. If it's not the intention, then I don't fucking know. But there's this monster thing, but not in a monster in a scary way, but like a monster that takes the form of people that goes after you, and you have to pass along this curse, essentially, to someone else for it to not kill you. But then if it kills that person, it'll come back and find you. So you have to tell them, you need to avoid this, you need to do this, you need to pass it on to someone as fast as you can. And so you see how this STD, that's how you pass it along, is through sex. And so you see how it kind of alludes to an STD sort of thing. Anyway, it's really interesting. The suspense, the music on that was really, really cool and suspenseful and awesome. I loved it. I watched The Double. It was like, I mean, it's called The Double. It was about a spy. What's the phrase for that? It's like a two-sided spy, a double cross or something like that. So it was like, well, duh. Liars All was not worth a watch. It was about a bunch of stupid fucking teenagers and then they killed someone. They were fucking dumb. Two Wrongs, that was such a Lifetime movie. Imagine typical Lifetime movie, child kidnapped, mother must find the child. That's the movie. Blink, it was an old school like crime movie. It had the old classic music. It was in the 90s though, and it was about a woman who was blind and then like a neighbor, someone was killed, and it was right after a surgery that was like starting to like improve her vision. And so she saw the guy, but anyway, so it's just classic crime drama. She happens to be blind, and then there's like that drama of is it him or is it him, because she doesn't really know, but it's all like based on smell and stuff. It's really cool. The Hole, this one, horror movie. Really, really hard to watch. I got nauseous a few times. Let me say that I've only ever gotten nauseous watching approximately 3 movies that had nothing to do with motion sickness. Cabin Fever, The Hills Have Eyes, that's one of them. And I know there was a third one, but I'm pretty sure it had something to do with like flesh-eating virus or something. This grossed me out to no end. I don't want to spoil it because it's definitely a mystery. If you want a genuinely disturbing movie, watch this. There is no rape in this. There is no excess bloodiness. It gets gross, like you see vomit quite a lot, but nothing that I would say is like triggery. If you're claustrophobic like I am, mildly. So they gave it this really massive storm and they all gather into the city hall area, and then there's this man and he kills this old woman, and this is all happening right as the storm is like just going to shore or just about to hit. Anyway, they have bad weather. They have nowhere to really take him but where everyone else is going into town. They kind of keep him in the back part of, it's either like a grocery store or city hall. Anyway, I think like little things are connected, but then he keeps killing people from within his cell. He keeps influencing them to either kill each other or kill themselves. They leave a message that says, give me what I want and I'll go away. You do find out what it is, and it kind of gives you chills. It's really fucked up. It's like one of the most ultimate difficult questions for someone, and I love that Stephen King explored that. I love that movie since I was young, and maybe that's like partially something that influenced me to write in the way that I want to write, and kind of like what I want to have all my writing be about. I always want to write about something that does matter, but I like asking difficult questions, like things that make people uncomfortable to ask themselves. I love this movie. It's an old favorite for me. It's long though. It's like a good 3.5, 4 hours long. I also watched The Shrine. I have no recollection of it at all, so. Oh, I also watched Particle Fever. I don't know if I mentioned it last month or not, but I completely watched it this month. It is about the creation of the quote-unquote God particle. I forget the proper name for it. It starts with an H. It's after the man who discovered it or thought it. I don't remember how it went exactly. But it's a documentary style movie, and it's all these different scientists who are working in different parts of this main program to create this God particle. But I think that is about it. I'm sorry if this video is quite long. I tried to speed it up, but I had a lot that I did like this month. So if you have any suggestions for me, please leave them down there in the comments. I have Hulu, Xfinity, and Netflix. I'm currently I'm always into alien things. Who am I kidding? But I'm a special kick with those and old crime movies. That's my jam right now. Side note, still watching The X-Files, still really liking it. I think that is about it. So see you guys later next time. Bye.